Poi tipo 3, 2, 1. Vai.
Io no live streaming, quindi ci siamo raga. Raga, scusate, ora lagga. Ogni tanto laggerà, però non è colpa mia. Ok, basta, lo blocco.
Bloccalo, bloccalo. Mi è arrivata la notifica.
Ah, vai.
Me l'ero scordata che l'avevo messa la campanellina.
Aspettate, risolviamo subito i problemi di lag. Non come l'evento GeForce. Oggi sono preparato.
Che vuol dire?
Hewlett Packard. Ma se lo metti sul tuo telefono che si sente più forte?
Sì, per un attimo lo sto facendo una cosa col telefono. Aspetta.
Comunque saluta i fan.
Ciao fan. Ciao. Quanti siamo?
Ancora no.
Mettiamolo tutti e due, va?
2. Io lo metto da questa parte e tu lo metti dall'altra. Io lo metto qua e tu lo metti dall'altra, così leggiamo la chat. Prima o poi sentirete un po' di eco, però ma noi lo vediamo un po' in ritardo, ma giusto tipo un paio di secondi in ritardo. Vabbè, non ci fa nulla.
Sta laggando.
Ma non è che lagga, però se lo metto in diretta proprio. Ok, ora in diretta però alcune volte si vede anche tipo 2 secondi di ritardo la live questa qua di PS5.
She is not making this easy.
Ok, aspetta.
Ragazzi, vi ricordo di iscrivervi, attivare la campanellina e se volete donate, se volete potete donare e quindi se volete, per donare bisogna semplicemente fare il link in descrizione oppure /psdavi aspetta streamlabs.com/psdavigaming se non ti vistono. Comunque tra un'ora, 11 minuti e 40 secondi sarà l'evento ufficiale.
Io trovo la tua live. Trovo la tua live. Ah, giusto. Aspetta. Ok, ci sono.
Non è tra un'ora, 11 minuti e 40 secondi.
Che vuol dire?
Good morning, Black Reef.
Non è che non hai il canale, non è un account.
No,
Part time looks fun.
sono dopo un account.
For everyone else on this island, this place is paradise. A never-ending party where hunting me is the main attraction. And no matter how I try to escape, they always cut me down.
Aspetta, però prima devo fare una cosa. Devo fare una cosa.
Mi dite che il sottofondo è troppo alto.
Every loop I'm learning a little more, piecing together the puzzle. There's 8 targets, and they all gotta die before midnight.
Bloccato.
Fucking loop.
Posso. Non sei
Ale, dobbiamo andare.
Raga, Ale deve andare.
Vabbè dai, 2 minuti, dai.
I don't like watching you die. I like killing you. There's a difference.
Però comunque sbrigati perché
Vabbè,
appena
sì.
se inizia l'evento e appena inizia...
Vabbè, tanto ci vuole. Quanto ci vuole? 15 minuti? Ora ho voglia.
Giappone, Tokyo. Questo mi hanno dato il copyright, quindi va bene, mi prendo un altro copyright.
Cos'è che ti hanno dato il
You see
copyright?
things
Questo
others
gioco credo che
can't.
sia
Con il copyright?
palesemente.
Mamma.
Bello.
Hear threats
Ma non è
others
detto, dai.
don't.
Non è questo.
Fight when others won't. It's up to you to save Tokyo.
Raga, scrivete in chat. Ah, aspetta, quando lo lancio su Telegram. Comunque raga, scrivete in chat, voglio fare un po' di just chatting.
Vai, vai.
Telegram. Ah, poi anche su... anche su Twitter. Tu pure condividi con tutti. Anche con Mattia. PlayStation Studios! Lo ricordate? Lo ricordate? No, perché c'era una meme che ogni tanto ogni tanto tra un trailer e l'altro c'era il logo della PlayStation con scritto PlayStation Studios e io continuavo a dire sempre allora c'era sta meme che io dicevo in continuazione questa cosa. Is back. Raga, il gameplay in esclusiva. Bella, tutti che sono PS5 Pro. Comunque, sì, no, ok, guarda. No, ma perché mi cambia il console?
Lo so. Anche a me.
Così infatti andiamo nella nostra casa, sì infatti, poi non mi piace, cambiamo macchina, sì va bene, questa va bene. Ok, allora andiamo a guidare, sì, dobbiamo comprare delle parti per la nostra macchina, ragazzi, sì. Andiamo ora al Gran Turismo World che dobbiamo fare la nostra gara. Andiamo subito questa gara qua e qua andiamo già subito nella gara pronta. Sì, ok, ci siamo. Vai, guardala, guarda. Veloce, devo andare più veloce. Guarda questo, passare, dai. Sì, gira. Dai, più veloce. Non ce la faccio più. Condividi. Guarda che cerco di condividere, non si condivide. Ma sai che non si condivide? Dato live. Ah, ma perché sei? Sto cercando di farla vedere. Che c'è almeno 454 cose. Allora mettilo anche su. E per sbaglio torni indietro e non si sa. E rifallo. E lo rifaccio però, che cavolo. Visit esbre.org. PlayStation Studios. No.
Orge vuol dire orge.
No! Family friendly.
No. Viewers 1. Reazione evento PS5 shopping. Ah, ma c'è scritto, wow.
Se uno mi manda una donazione, guarda cosa succede. Vuoi vederlo? Aspetta. Guarda, è qua.
Intanto riproviamo per l'ultima volta, dopodiché ci rinuncia e basta.
Oh dear.
Streamlabs. Sì. Streamlabs.
Streamlabs.com.
No, quello è casanate.
Non siamo.
Giusto!
Feels good to be back in action.
Sì. Proprio. Sì. Allora. Come la cosa della sedia.
Ah sì, la sedia.
The train's pulling away. Let's go.
Sedia. Famosissima sedia.
Aumentiamo! Ma è a volume 12, certo che non senti nulla.
Quanta professionalità! Quanta professionalità che c'è nei miei video.
Ma perché?
Sto provando a fare una cosa però. Ah, laptop.
Cosa? Ok.
Guarda. Ma perché mi hai regalato?
Was that supposed to happen? Digging nefarious device seems
Per il
like
PS selvatico.
reality.
John ha regalato.
Just shot. There has to be another way across. The rifts appeared to
John ha
react to your
regalato
device.
$47.
Try pointing it at one of them.
John ha
Basta che
regalato
clicchi send test.
$21 per il PS
Send
selvato.
test.
Cioè ti sta dando soldi.
È un test.
John ha regalato $32 per il PS
Mi
selvato.
tolgo i soldi.
This is a test donation for $32.
Io ci riprovo l'ultima volta a fare questa
00.
volta perché basta.
Guarda.
Cosa? Ti sei iscritto al tuo stesso canale? Perché non eri iscritto al tuo stesso canale?
This is worse than I had imagined.
It's Ratchet and Clank!
Sand sharks from above.
My heroes!
I knew you'd come.
Andiamo.
A kraken? or at least a very large
59
octopus.
minuti.
I will never get used to that. Hey, at least we're on the same planet this time. Nefarious is on the other side of that building. Let's get moving before he does anything else to break reality.
Sembra che ti piace più vicino tra l'altro.
Did Dr. Nefarious really resurface after all the...
Raga, se arrivo a 3000 iscritti in questa live apro GTA mentre sono in live.
I kind of wish he was doing a worse job. He must
PC.
have more plans than he is telling us.
Apro Fortnite,
That's what I'm afraid of.
GTA e Mario. Però voglio 3000 iscritti.
Quanti iscritti?
Can't wait to see what's new.
Ok.
More butts?
Raga, poi siete invitati anche a...
That's all of them. We have to get the Dimensionator away from Nefarious. Oh no, not right now! Whoa! The dimensions are weakening considerably. How bad is it? Well, it is certainly not good. Great!
Tu pensa che parte un'ora? Cioè mancano 57 minuti. Quindi
questo gioco
sì.
lo cambia.
Faranno per molti minuti, molti giorni, capito?
10 minuti è durato sto gioco, ora cambiatelo. Vabbè, Ale va.
Ciao.
Prego, prego. Guardate un attimo la live da solo.
Ratchet. We are too late. Ratchet?
Who?
Long ago, a young girl went with her mother to pick berries for her father, who was hard at work. But the forest greeted them with a dark, cold silence. The bushes empty. Yet determined to find the berries, the rascal broke free of Mother's grasp and vanished into the trees. Mother's worried cries faded fast as the girl ran on, over vine, under branch, and into the forest deep.
What is it with that creepy story?
It's just a local tale.
You're really into that stuff?
Quit being so paranoid.
No, no! Friendly! Friendly! Who are you? Who sent you? What's going on? They're coming. Who is?
Allora raga, non vorrei far crashare la live, ma se volete giochiamo un po' a Minecraft nel frattempo che aspettiamo.
Chris? Sorry, Ethan.
Raga, giochiamo a Minecraft nel frattempo. Ecco raga, sto andando Minecraft. Così nel frattempo giochiamo. Cioè questo me lo metto tipo vicino alla chat. E per ora giochiamo gioco. Non vorrei che crashasse qualcosa. Spero che non crashi nulla. Che carino quello. Cioè quella paperella. Ma perché? Cosa c'entra quello? C'è questo che sta facendo le avventure, ma è quello che sta vivendo la sua. Perfetto, meglio che non vedo più nulla, perché altrimenti potrei. Raga, si è bloccato tutto, esattamente come ho previsto. Faccio così. Scusate, ora si blocca tutto. Aspettate, però non era 1, 12, 2. Perfetto, la live non funziona più. Oh, a che ora inizia? Tra 51 minuti e 39 secondi. Quindi tra poco. Se vuoi resta, tanto stiamo a fare. Cioè io nel frattempo gioco. Mentre va. Non l'ho messo in pausa? Forse l'ho messo in pausa. Sì, l'avevo messo in pausa. Aspettatemi. No, dai! PlayStation Studios. Grazie, Salvo Messina, bella. Grazie di esserti iscritto. Se vuoi lasciare una donazione, link in descrizione, streamlabs.com/psdgaming. Aspettate, devo fare il login. Altrimenti mi fregate l'account. Ah, ok. Ah, vabbè. Non c'è nessuno. Andiamo a vedere l'evento.
Your dad said that.
Dai! Ok. Vabbè, questo... Stiamo facendo il replay dell'evento passato. Vabbè, se voi non ce lo rivediamo. Senza programmare. Dai! Ok. Forza. Vabbè, triangolo. Cerchio. X quadrato. X al quadrato. Minuti rimanenti. Sì. PlayStation Studios. Sony Interactive Product e compagnia bella. Questo è Horizon, non lo so.
The old ones.
Sì, è palesemente Horizon.
Perished 1,000 years ago. Their great cities turned to graves. In their place came new life. And new dangers. I must find a way to stop it. Or it will get worse and worse. Until it destroys us all. There's nothing I wouldn't do to save this world. No depth I won't explore. No secret I won't unlock. No barrier I won't cross. This mission is mine alone. If I falter, if I fail, there won't be anyone left to stop what's coming.
Era Horizon, l'ho detto. Era Horizon. Vabbè.
But whatever comes, I will be ready.
No, no. Questo è copyright. Vi prego, non mi mettete il copyright per questo. Se mi mettete il copyright ammazzo quelli dell'IGN. Perché in questo momento non dovevo essere in live. Cioè, se ero in live non è che c'era questa cosa qua. Ma perché se andate sull'evento ufficiale PlayStation vi faceva vedere che la live è ancora offline. È stata tra 39 minuti. Voglio rivedere il trailer di GTA, quello scammoso. Quello super scam. Comunque sì, stiamo vedendo la live in live. Il problema è che è tipo 3 secondi più indietro. Vedete? Live. Qua, tipo 3 secondi. Cosa metto? Proprio live, cioè tempo reale. Inizia a laggare a fare frame rosso. Aspettate.
We're back. And not far from where we last saw him. We may still have time to put a stop to this.
problem on that?
Oh dear.
Ok, raga. Ah, 2 spettatori, bella. Scrivete in chat che possiamo.
Alright. Bringing out the big guns. Feels good to be back in action. Last one. The train's pulling away. Let's go.
Now I definitely better miss my train!
I've been looking everywhere.
Oh!
Put down the
Sì,
dimensionator,
buongiorno
Nefarious.
Buongiorno, sicuri. È un tizio vero lei. È un tizio vero. Ah, non sei il moderatore. Ah! Forse ho capito perché non sei moderatore. Perché nelle teste che mi hanno creato il canale hanno levato tutti i moderatori. Oh, bella Raffi. A te ti ho rimesso un moderatore, infatti.
Was that supposed to happen?
Hitting Nefarious'
No,
device
non
seems to have
c'è
destabilized
nel canale.
reality.
The bridge is shot.
Raga,
There has to be another way
arrivo
across.
anche in bagno.
The little
105
wire to
minuti
react to your device. Try pointing it at one of them. That was rather exciting.
Gates before train. Wait! Robo! What? That's all of them! Whoa! Watch your head!
This is worse than I had imagined.
Everyone look! It's Ratchet and Clank!
Sand sharks from above.
My heroes!
I knew you'd come!
Might as well.
Was that a kraken? Or at least a very large octopus. I will never get used to that.
Hey, at least we're on the same planet this time. Nefarious is on the other side of that building. Let's get moving before he does anything else to break reality.
Did Dr. Nefarious really resurface after all these years just to try and take over the universe again?
Yeah, I kinda wish he was doing a worse job.
He must have more planned than he is telling us.
That's what I'm afraid of. Can't wait to see what's new.
Get him, Robo Mike!
More butts? all of them. We have to get the Dimensionator away from Nefarious. Oh no, not right now! Whoa!
The dimensions are weakening considerably.
How bad is it?
Well, it is certainly
Sono
not
tornato.
Beats me.
No, è lo stesso di prima. Dai, l'abbiamo visto 100 volte. Sono tornato.
We've been boarded! Get off me! Out of
Clank!
Fammi tornare. Oh, bella
Ratchet. We are too late. Ratchet?
Forse ti hanno ripannato comunque, sai. Oggi vedrai le live insieme a noi. PlayStation esclusive. PlayStation Studioso. Stessa cosa di prima. Fanno sempre le stesse cose e per 30 minuti mi devo sopportare sempre la stessa.
A hero's just someone who doesn't give up.
7 giorni. Ah, mi dispiace.
Your dad said that.
3 spettatori.
He was right.
Bella
Now
lei.
it's your turn.
Cioè no, bella lei.
Go be a hero,
Invitate
Miles.
altra gente. Voglio tanti spect. Questa live.
Let's do this.
Dai re che voglio che parlate tanto in chat, che voglio la chat. Mamma, sono youtuber. Uno youtuber di quelli di successo. Non capisco perché. Ma non si aggiorna la chat. Non si aggiorna. Aspetta raga, provo a fissare però non garantisco. Aggiungi source.
But the forest greeted them with a dark,
Live chat viewer.
The bush is empty. Yet determined to find the berries, the rascal broke free of Mother's grasp and vanished into the trees. Mother's worried cries faded fast as the girl ran on, over vine, under branch, and into the forest.
What is that creepy story?
It's just a local.
Questi giorni ho giocato a Minecraft Dungeon. Ah, GG. Io poi lo dovrei provare, solo che non so perché. Devo vedere un modo. Adesso.
No, friendly.
Ah, questo è Resident Evil.
Who sent you?
Vabbè.
They're coming. Who is?
Devi invitare gente. Sequettato. Buono. cadavere. Oh, guarda dietro. Resident Evil. No, è Resident Evil. Hitman. Raga, è Resident Evil o è Hitman? No, infatti, è Resident Evil. Ah, penso Davide, questa live la stai a fare con XSplit un scrivi in chat. Perché? Sì, comunque sì, non posso fare altro. OBS c'ha il problema della chiave di stream. Stream non mi parte. Ma visto che
your sentence is appreciated and mandatory. The real party doesn't start until he's dead.
She is not making this easy.
Sta caricando? Se sta caricando vuol dire che è un vostro problema. Perché a me non lo fa vedere. Cioè pure io c'ero sul telefono la live. Quindi... No, io lo vedo bene, lo vedo abbastanza scorrevole. Ah no, raga, quindi devo parlare perché questa canzone è copyright. Comunque ragazzi, continuate a scrivere in chat perché devo leggere i messaggi, altrimenti mi mettono il copyright, capito ragazzi? Quindi
this place is paradise. A never-ending party. Where hunting me is the main attraction.
No, bello questo gioco.
And no matter how I try to escape, they always cut me down.
Bello, grazie Streamlabs
But I'm one stubborn motherfucker. Every loop I'm learning a little more, piecing together the puzzle. There's 8 targets, and they all gotta die before midnight. There's just one little snag.
Un cecchino.
You thought it was going to be easy?
Juliana Blake, Black Reef's protector, and a real pain in my ass. She may kill me 1,000,000 times, but eventually, inevitably, I will break this fucking loop.
Player, ninja. C'ho tutti i propri ninja. Che bello, il copyright.
I don't like watching you die. I like killing you. There's a
Ma
difference.
di nuovo! Ah no, ok, perfetto. Ah, ci stanno rifacendo vedere l'aptic feedback. Vabbè, l'abbiamo finito per ricordare ora l'aptic. L'aptic feedback. Raga, salutate YouTube perché in qualche clip del genere, anzi se continuate a scrivere in chat, forse qualche clip del genere con dei vostri messaggi finisce su un video su YouTube, quindi scrivete raga. un computer. Cioè, c'è un tizio con la faccia da computer. E un gatto. Un miau. Un miau miau. Ancora 21 minuti, raga. Vediamo quanto dura questo. 21 minuti. Questo è proprio fatto per la PlayStation 5. GG. Siamo un po' meglio anche la chat.
Welcome to PlayStation 5.
Benvenuto nella PlayStation 5. Si è bloccato tutto. Gran Turismo is back. Questo qua mi sono triggerato un botto quando l'ho visto per la prima volta. Non so se vi ricordate. Comunque raga, ho pensato di aprire un altro canale chiamato PS Davi Live, dove là ricarico gli spezzoni più belli ed editati delle mie live. Che ne dite, è una buona idea?
Hello and welcome to IGN's pre-show for what could very well be the biggest video game event of the year, the PlayStation Showcase, all about the PlayStation 5. We have all been collectively waiting months and months to find out the price and release date for Sony's brand new next-generation console, and it's looking like today will be the day, and if it's not, we'll be pissed. Here to talk about all things PlayStation 5 in our pre-show countdown are my wonderful PlayStation-obsessed co-hosts Jonathan Dornbush, Brian Altano, and Janet Garcia. Welcome.
Hello.
This is it. So I want to point this out. Brian is calling in from an undisclosed location. You are literally in a cabin in the woods. That's how much you didn't want to miss this. You're supposed to be on vacation, but who has a healthy work-life balance in 2020?
So, like you said, if we don't get this information, not only did I have to set up the cabin, but I'm
Now, Jonathan, let's walk through a little bit of sort of what we know about the PlayStation 5. We've gotten a few very weird little glimpses of it. Sony's been, much more mum than usual, but can you give us just a real quick crash course in how this system got revealed?
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of crazy that we have so many big questions still to be answered, but Sony has shown off a lot since they, said the words PlayStation 5 for the first time. So the biggest stuff we know really, I think, started after the logo reveal at CES in January. We had Mark Cerny's sort of tech breakdown earlier this year, sort of timed around what would have been GDC before GDC didn't happen at that time. But basically, we learned a lot about what's going in to the PS5 on the inside, and that really comes down to the new SSD, the custom built solid state drive that is really sort of the touted main feature for developers about what's going to change development going forward into next gen. Hopefully it's going to sort of erase load times, really change the way we experience video games in a way that some of the examples have been, we'll never have a loading hallway that we'll have to slowly trudge our way through again as next gen goes on. The SSD is really supposed to be sort of the evolutionary step that the PS5 is bringing, but we also know it's going to sort of enhance audio as well with 3D audio sort of built in. We'll have build ray tracing. It's bringing with it the new DualSense controller, not the DualShock 5, the DualSense, which is supposed to make you feel the game so you can feel every bit, and whether that's sort of the topography of the world inside of a game, the weather changing, the sort of pull of a bow as you're shooting an arrow, all these little bits and pieces that are in the controller to sort of give you an advanced sensation when you're playing instead of just the usual rumble that we're used to. Those are some of the biggest tech features that we've really learned about. We still are waiting on more of a look at the UI, more of a look at all the stuff that's going to go on once we start playing games, but we did finally get a look at the actual console itself at that big June reveal, which also showed us a lot of the big upcoming PS5 games, including a lot of exclusives that were announced in June and are on the way shortly, like Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales, which is supposed to still come out this holiday. We've learned about Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, which is a launch window game at some point as well. Demon Souls is an exclusive on the way. The next Gran Turismo. So many games were shown off, Horizon Forbidden West. So we have a lot to look forward to, but there is a lot that we still don't know.
I do think what they showed with the Unity stuff was really impressive, and kind of seeing that all in action was really exciting. And for me, what I've liked about everything is that it's just this emphasis on immersion and this idea of having it across all these different senses. I think they've been really strong in both delivering from a marketing standpoint and what they've shown off that, hey, this is going to be a new thing. We're departing from PS4, but in a way that's a step forward, building on the strong gen they already had. So that's what has me most excited about all of this.
Now, real quick, I just want to point out we're having some audio problems. Unsurprisingly, when you call into a video call from a cabin in the woods, it maybe doesn't go perfectly. So if you can't hear Brian, he's saying very nice things. I'm sure it's probably great. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about sort of the fact that Microsoft went first. Jonathan, what do you think of this? Like the fact that we know a lot more about the Series X, and Sony's been really quiet about it. Tell us about that.
I mean, my whole thought about all of this is really that Sony has wanted Microsoft to go first. Microsoft's hand was definitely pushed when it came to the announcement of the Series X price and release date last week. There were some leaks over the weekend that we saw them really respond very quickly and surprisingly to. Like, they really turned that around extremely quickly, probably not in the timetable they were expecting to. And so that unfortunate circumstance aside, I do think Sony's strategy has really been, we've been in this year-long game of chicken. They've really been looking at it as, we're going to wait until they go because we can afford to. They are coming into this gen as the market leader. The PS4 has sold over 100 million units. We don't know the full Xbox One sales, but it hasn't sold that much by a margin. And so they are really going into this with sort of the upper hand. And so I think they have always wanted Microsoft to kind of have to show their hand first because they can respond in kind.
Janet, what do you think?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that was the play. I think the real question is like, how did this impact what we're seeing today? Are we seeing something different than we would have before? Is this something that I do get the sense that both companies had things ready to go? It takes a long time to put together presentations like this, to come up with like the thumbnails, the marketing, the art. Like when the Xbox leak happened, they immediately were like, all right, we're just going to officially reveal this. And I doubt they had to mock up all of that the night of. They probably had it ready for some time. So we do know that PlayStation's been ready to go. The question is, how much will this impact it? Will we see will the price be competitive? I think is the question on all of our minds, because we already know what Xbox has and what Sony's up against. So that's pretty much how it's been played out.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that both companies are playing a very different game. And well, it definitely, I think it plays into Sony's hands for sort of Microsoft to have gone first, because they can sort of, if Microsoft comes out and says the price point and Sony goes, well, $20 cheaper, then that's sort of easy for them. But even going back as far as the Game Awards, when we got our first look at the Series X, whereas it took us, a good chunk of a year until we saw what the PS5 looked like. I mean, the fact that even the name PlayStation 5 wasn't formalized until CES. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about price, which is a big thing on a lot of people's minds. Jonathan, what are your predictions here? And also, when do you think it's going to come out?
Yeah, so right now we have the standard version of the PS5, which comes with a disc drive, and then the digital edition, as far as we know, functionally the same internals, like it runs the same, but it doesn't have a disc drive. But despite that really being seemingly only the main difference, I think what we're going to see is a $499 price for the standard version and a $399 price for the digital edition. I think Sony might be willing to take a bit more of a loss on that digital edition to get it into more homes, because that digital edition, people are going to then just solely be buying games through the PSN. That is going to be the majority of the way, other than, buying a game code on Amazon or something. They're going to be getting all the revenue from those people directly. And so that's going to be like a long tail incentive to want to get into people's homes, even if they take a loss right now. But I think they're going to match the Series X at price with 500, and I'm tentatively saying the date. I could see different ways, but I'm saying right now November 13th. That's the Friday after the Xbox Series X and S come out, and that's also the same day Call of Duty comes out this year. And Call of Duty and PlayStation all this generation have been, and to have people who are going either to a store or buying games online, buying Call of Duty the same day they can buy a new system and have it day one to play Call of Duty, I think is going to probably attract a pretty decent number of potential buyers. So I'm sticking with November 13th for now.
Right. Now, Brian, I think we can hear you now, hopefully. If so, do you want to predict the price point and release date?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Can we hear you? Maybe not. All right, let's go to Janet.
Yeah, I think Jonathan's date is like really well thought out. I just picked a different one just to be, change it up a little bit. So I'm going with the 17th. It is 1 week after Xbox, but it is still right before Cyberpunk, and I think that can be a pretty good play. As far as price, I'm going to go on the higher end. I'm going to say $449 for the digital version and $549 for the physical. I feel like this machine's really powerful. We know the DualSense is an expensive controller. I think it's going to be really hard for them to hit that $499 that I think so much of us want. But at the same time, I think they're very wary of being too close to that $600 price point, because they were burned so badly when they announced that. I think they're going to try to steer as clear as possible. But the idea of $500, it's just really tight, especially because the digital version, it is essentially the same hardware, just without the disk drive. So I don't think they could mark it down too drastically either. They're kind of in a rough spot. So that's my prediction, $449 for the digital, and $549 for the physical.
Brian, I think you're actually back now.
Okay, yeah, sorry, I was actually recording in PlayStation 5 exclusive 3D audio for this entire episode, so you couldn't hear me yet, but you will be able to hear me this fall. My prediction is $449 or $450 for the digital version and $500 for the disc-based version. I don't think they can really charge more than $50 for what is essentially a $9 disc drive on Newegg. And so that's probably going to keep it sort of right around where people are expecting it. That said, I do think that they probably would have pushed for a higher price here had Microsoft not, shown their hand a little earlier. So, but yeah, that's going to be I think the sticker shock. We're all numb to it at this point. 500 feels like the way to go in across the board. I will say also, I'm going to pre-order the digital one because I feel like there's going to be less competition for that.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, the whole thing is if there are brick and mortar stores that are still selling physical copies, they're probably not going to be wild about selling the digital only one because they don't get people coming back to buy boxed games. People keep kind of chiming in on how much the disc drive is worth, and I want to point out that it is a UHD 4K Blu-ray player, which they're still pretty expensive. I mean, a lot of people have moved away from physical, but there are, obviously, collectors and people who want like really high quality. Video, and I'm one of those people. I still like physical movies because I'm a weird grandpa. Anyway, we are about 4 minutes out. Let's talk about what we hope to see. Jonathan, what are you really looking forward to about this?
I mean, definitely kind of getting a sense of what the launch lineup is going to be, and I think primarily around that Spider-Man Miles Morales. Like that game is theoretically coming out in a couple months, and we have only seen one trailer from it from the June showcase and gotten a few developer quotes since then. So like, yes, we know what Spider-Man on the PS4 looked like, but I'm so excited to see what their take on Miles is. I'm excited to see New York in the winter. I know we've talked about that a lot on our PlayStation show Beyond, but I'm so thrilled to just go back to that world, that version of New York, and see what's up with this new take on Spider-Man.
Brian, what about you?
Demon Souls remaster or remake. It's been rated recently, which is usually the sign that it's coming sooner than later. That essentially means that it's ready to go to retail much sooner than I think anyone had anticipated. And so having that at launch day or launch window would be phenomenal because I think they're doing a lot of stuff that's sort of catch-all for casual players and big market stuff. But I want like a big, crazy, tough, hardcore awesome action RPG, and I've never played Demon Souls. This is the perfect time to play it, so I can't wait. So I hope it's there day one.
Nice. Janet, what are you looking forward to?
Aside from the launch lineup, I really want a deep dive into the UI. We have seen like teasers of what the UI is, but I want to see what it actually looks like in practice. And then I want something that I'm really not expecting. I want something that will floor me. Part of me wants Jack 4, even though I don't even want Jack 4, but I just want something that feels unexpected, a little bit like a whirlwind. This is a fairly lengthy presentation, so as much as launch lineup is important and we'd like to see maybe some actual more concrete gameplay from these titles they've been promoting, I feel like they have to have something up their sleeve to really wow us. I think they did such a good job on their last presentation too, that this is their time to really drive it home.
All right, now we're just literally seconds away. Remember, you can watch the entire PlayStation Showcase right here. You don't have to go anywhere, and then we'll be live right afterwards, hopefully with all of our mics working, and we'll have a whole post-show and recap everything we saw and talk about all the best and worst reveals, and try to host a show while probably scrambling on our various devices to actually secure a pre-order for this thing. Video games, everybody, this is very exciting. Now, before we toss this, we've got just seconds to go. Let's go around real quick. What's a thing that hasn't been announced, just pie in the sky, that you'd want to see? Jonathan.
God of War. Just the next God of War. I don't know if Corey's Barlog's trolling on Twitter means anything. I hope it does. But man, I just want to see more God of War.
Brian?
Last of Us multiplayer, or whatever they're calling that. The Last of Us 2 is essentially going to have a multiplayer thing, and that was confirmed to be a spin-off, a separate sort of self-contained piece of software entirely, and I think we're going to see it today. Fingers crossed.
We're going to see a demo of Last of Us Part 2 running on PS5?
I think so. I think that you're going to get at least a sizzle of some sort of the big rock stars of this current gen and how they look on the next gen. Although I can't imagine some of those games even looking better, but I'd love to be proven wrong.
Nice. Janet?
Yeah, on that note, I think seeing a sizzle reel of any of the big PS4 hits that are confirmed for PS5, I think that would be really exciting and also help pad whatever their launch lineup ends up being.
Very cool. We've gotten some rumblings that we might see Final Fantasy 16 get revealed, which is very exciting, but also I think a lot of people really just want to know when we're getting that Final Fantasy 7 Remake Part 2. So we're about 15 seconds out. I think that's it. I think we're gonna sit tight. We're gonna throw to this thing. I'm just gonna keep talking for like 6 seconds, maybe 5 seconds. I might just wrap it up in about 3 seconds from right now. But we'll be back for the post show right afterwards. Stick around. Sony's starting right now.
PlayStation 5.
Yeah. Woo!
You all know the target. Shiva's dominant. And only the dominant.
How do we even know the girl will be among us?
Our kind do not question orders, we follow them.
Sergeant, let's summon their icon.
Icon? That thing's a bloody mountain.
Our foe will not relinquish their Mother Crystal easily. This will be a bitter fight.
You should not be out of doors. We have discussed this. Come, Joshua. Your father will be expecting us.
I am Joshua's shield. I'm sworn to protect him.
What do you mean you refuse? Did you not pledge your sword to our cause?
What does it matter? It was the Dalmex who drove back the Crusaders in the Battle of the Twin Realms, was it not?
Without the blessing of the Mother Crystal, we cannot defend our realm from the spread of the Blight.
So, they sent in the Dragoons. Imperial Vipers. Do they really mean to invade us?
It's the Archduke's son.
The Phoenix.
Joshua! Stop this!
legacy of the crystals has shaped our history. I'll kill you. If it's the last thing I do.
Vabbè, però registro io. Comunque l'evento è iniziato. Le loro transizioni mi mancavano.
It's too cold to change out here. Dang, I'm late for Mom's rally.
Subway card. Check. You got the house key? Yeah, I got it.
Come on! We're gonna be late!
Raga.
Hey! Dude, I am so filling your suit with snow. Are you still wearing your suit?
Yeah, you know, just in case.
It's gonna be fine. See, this is my favorite part of living in Harlem. Pop-up street fair, best food in the city, awesome music. Man, this would be great for the last beat I was working on. I should get back into mixing. Yeah.
Vogliamo data e prezzo, vogliamo data e prezzo, dai. Qui vi immaginate, tutti si aspettavano 700 euro, 800 euro. Alla fine, come la 3080, costa 200 euro.
Educating them, making sure they don't throw things at each other.
Hi, I'm Brian Horton, Creative Director at Insomniac Games. We're excited to show you this first look at gameplay from Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales. Our story picks up 1 year after the events of the first game, and we find Miles' new home, Harlem, is in danger. Trouble brews while Miles' mom, Rio Morales, leads an election rally. A war between the devious energy corporation Roxxon and the Underground, a high-tech criminal army led by the Tinkerer, starts to break out. In this gameplay sequence, captured on PlayStation 5 hardware, the Underground attacks Roxxon, sending the rally into chaos in a fight that spills onto the Braithwaite Bridge, where the Underground tries to steal Roxxon's experimental energy source, Newfound. Let's take a look.
Go, go, go! Whoa! Let's not shoot each other, all right?
We're after the new form. Ignore everything else.
Che sono di rivedere. Ah, forse questo è un nuovo gioco. Sembra un film comunque.
Get rid of him. Then grab as much as you can carry.
I'm busy.
I have to stop this! People are trapped over there! I have to push past these guys! Where is he? They'll kill you! Don't let him shot you! Help! Help! No! The bus! Everybody get out!
Non film, non è che un giorno. Che devi fare un bus. Sì, non è un
No! Don't worry, I got you!
Thank you, man.
Those people! They're trapped!
Almeno un minimo.
I've got an idea!
Sui 200 FPS la chiamata.
I need something they can cross! No! I can stop this! Just a little closer!
Sì, allora scrivete in chat, io comunque vi saluto e parlo anche con voi invece, altrimenti sto zitto tutta la live, cioè non proprio tutta, però sto zitto, così comunque lo vedete anche voi.
Magic, both beautiful and powerful, binds together our long history. That common bond we share is the legacy of Hogwarts. Now it is time to add your own story to these hallowed halls and, quite possibly, shape the future of the wizarding world. Every corridor, every portrait, every stone in this castle tells the story. Witches and wizards who came before.
guardato poco.
Here you will meet lifelong friends and grow into your own magical abilities in the classrooms of the world's most talented professors. And while your journey begins at Hogwarts, brewing potions, taming fantastic beasts, and mastering spells, there is a larger world beyond these walls. A world filled with dangers you can't yet imagine. An ancient knowledge long gone from this world. That strange and mysterious talent you possess may be the key to unlocking this dormant power. Your potential is limitless. But what form will it take? The journey ahead will reveal what you stand for. The choices you make now will define the legacy of Hogwarts.
Transizione. Comunque ragazzi, se avete problemi tipo con l'audio o cose del genere, scrivetemelo.
Hi everyone, I'm Dan Vondrak, Creative Director at Raven. One of our goals as developers is to bring the game world to life unlike anything you've ever experienced, and the PlayStation 5 is making that happen. With the power of the new console, we've been able to significantly enhance the overall experience. From what you see in the world, how it feels in your hands, to what you hear around you. In Black Ops Cold War, you will be transported to the year 1981, in the middle of one of the most dangerous times the world has ever known, the height of the Cold War. The following is a portion of the first campaign mission, where you've been given the name of a high-value target linked to the Iran hostage crisis. But in true Black Ops style, nothing is as it seems. Take a look.
Kasim is out of the picture.
How long before we get Harash?
Guerra
Team arrived
fredda,
in Turkey a
sbagliato.
few hours ago. They should be in position shortly.
Airfield's just up ahead. Let's go find this shithead.
Priority is to ID Raj before things go hot. Mason, check it out.
Bello sti occhiali, li voglio pure io.
Incoming truck, left side.
Harash might be in the truck.
Again, they got his face yet. I don't want.
Nel frattempo la mia postazione sta mutando forma.
Just iced everyone in a truck.
Che io pian piano sposto tutte cose. Aggiungo,
Need a
toglio
positive ID.
l'italiano e tolgo cose.
That's our man. Take him out.
Farla sempre più comoda, sempre più funzionale. Ah, l'Herbias.
Shit! We missed him! Can't let him get away!
Non lo so. Lo stanno io di questa live. C'è da un live da un'oretta, mezzo mezzoretto, non lo so quando. Diranno sì la data di uscita e sì il prezzo. Per ora dicono che costa tipo 600 euro, non credo. Ora vedremo. Tu, ormai. Comunque ragazzi, iscrivetevi. Mi piace solamente se volete. Se volete non studiare, se volete lasciare la reazione, trovate il link. Diminuite un po' il volume perché alcuni si lamentavano per altro po'. Ma mi sento, raga? Mi sentite? Mi sentite bene, piano, forte? Devo alzare, abbassare volume? Ditemi voi. Ah, infatti, era Call of Duty.
We hope you enjoyed that sneak peek at the
Ah, sì, il nuovo Call of Duty, infatti.
There are many more twists and turns along the way as you begin to unravel the truth, and we can't wait for you to play it soon. In addition to the story campaign, Cold War features the next generation of multiplayer online combat and an all-new awesome zombies experience. Today, I have the special honor to announce on behalf of my friends at Treyarch that the PlayStation community doesn't have to wait to play multiplayer. Starting this Friday, PlayStation players will be able to play the multiplayer alpha exclusively on PlayStation 4. And for those of you that are watching at home on your PS4, you can preload the experience starting tomorrow. We can't wait to see you online Friday and through the weekend. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Ha detto cioè mi ha augurato che, come dire, mi ha detto di come dire, vabbè, poi io è l'inglese, di godermi il resto dello spettacolo. Metti il cuscino qua dietro, così sto scomodo, così.
All clear. Come on, move! Chris? What the hell?
Take him away.
In life and in death, we give glory. The bell tolls for us all. They're coming again!
Mia.
È Granny 2.0. Granny fatta con Unreal Engine.
Long ago, a young girl went with her mother to pick berries for her father, who was hard at work. But the forest greeted them with a dark, cold silence. The bushes empty. Yet determined to find the berries, the rascal broke free of Mother's grasp and vanished into the trees. Mother's worried cries faded fast as the girl ran on, over vine, under branch.
Vabbè, sa sempre le solite storie, cioè una volta erano tutti felici, poi una volta perso suo figlio, suo madre, si vuole, volendo vendicarsi, ha iniziato a fare
It's just a local tale.
VR 2.0.
If it's just looking, window shop away.
You want out of a time loop, you gotta learn how it works. Black Reef is a puzzle, and each visionary is a different piece. Here's Igor.
I am a respected scientist!
I've done so many loops, I've learned to run circles around him.
Hey, over here! I'm coming for you!
I've tried taking my targets out one by one more than I can remember, but there is never enough time. I go after one, another lives, because right now, half an island away, a different visionary is throwing his nightly cannibal masquerade. Alexis Dorsey.
Everybody shut up! This is my jam.
Igor's a big fan, yet somehow he never makes it to the party. Something keeps him home.
Gold, you there, buddy?
Here's the invite to the party. And here's why Igor blew it off. He made some kind of scientific breakthrough that morning.
I did it! I did it, it works!
That he makes every morning. Unless I get there first. No experiment, no breakthrough. No reason for Igor not to drink his disappointment with Alexis. Now I got a shot at killing them both at the same time. In the same loop.
Is that Wolf? Hey, Wolf! It's time to hunt pink! Wolf! I'm talking about you, baby! How about Blake?
Target on my list. Every one of them with grand plans for eternal life. To break the loop, I gotta break the rules. Clock's ticking.
And you just ran out of time. You keep forgetting, Colt. I'm not like those other kids. Only got one name on my list. Yours.
Quello sta spammando. Questo gioco poi lo voglio provare, mi sembra carino. Non so se esiste per PC, però se esiste lo proverò. C'è una canzoncina vela. Vuol dire che c'è qualcosa di epico? No, sempre le mie posizioni. Ti prego che c'è qualcosa di epico. Di leggendario.
That day, if our positions were switched, would our fates be different? Would I have your life and you mine? You a demon.
for me.
This is power.
Rest in peace. Devil may cry.
Al lancio della PlayStation 5 c'è una musichetta carina, vuol dire che c'è una transizione carina. Oh, che se
What are they doing? Did those fugitive morons burn down their own hideout?
It sounds idiotic, but that's exactly what it looks like.
Bad karma for burning down my farm.
Hi, I'm Lorne Lanning, creative director of Oddworld Soulstorm. And we're excited to bring you an all-new exclusive trailer from the game. Here, our unlikely hero, Abe, finds himself fresh off the back of freeing his people from the nefarious Rupture Farms. He thinks the journey is over, but soon discovers it has only just begun. The stakes are higher, the threats are larger, the obstacles are more devious, and it's all made possible by the power of PlayStation 5. Enjoy.
Quindi dal potere della PlayStation 5 questo gioco dovrebbe andare a 200 milioni di FPS come esatto.
Not letting that Ed guy get away from us again!
Wait here.
Hey, why'd you hold us?
I could go for a sandwich right now.
Well, we gotta get out of here. Come on, let's get out of here.
My tummy's growling. I'm
Stop.
hungry.
Gregory, your friends are worried about you. They're here with me.
Questo è un gioco horror,
Please, come
palesima.
Gregory, I know you lost my temper earlier, but it was just a glitch. It won't happen again. It's been such a difficult day for all of us. Why don't you come out and we can play a game together? It won't happen again.
C'è un tizio che piange in sottofondo, malati,
It was just a
sottofondo,
glitch.
così questo.
Gregory, be still. I think she's found us.
Bello, si mettono pure le robe. Yes! Mi è venuto un infarto. Ah, FNAF. Il nuovo FNAF. il nuovo FNAF. Questo qua ve lo voglio provare. Questo lo porto sul canale, questo lo porto sul canale. Ah, un'altra animazione molto animazionosa della PlayStation. Che è? Sono schiacciato. Ah. No, fermo, che non si vede.
Soul of the lost
Quanti
withdrawn
giochi
from
non
its
dovreste fare? Cioè,
Let strength be granted
sempre
so
i
the
giochi
world
giapponesi.
might be mended.
E non perché ho letto Japan.
Lost withdrawn from its vessel.
Non so perché, però
Strength be granted so
continuo
the world might be mended.
ad avere l'audio basso.
The world might be mended.
Vabbè, i soliti giochi di dungeon, cose del genere. Semplicemente vai in giro per tutto il dungeon e ammazzare mostri. Easy. Easy, c'è poca illuminazione, non si vede. Il boss! Da quanto tempo che non vedevo un boss? Invece sì che l'ho visto un boss. L'evento della stagione X. Seriamente non mi... Ah sì, vero. Quando eravamo in live. Comunque ragazzi, se vi state sempre aspettando lo speciale 200 iscritti, arriverà, sta arrivando adesso che ci devo lavorare ogni giorno. Comunque vi avverto che ci saranno 2 speciali, 2 video, ci saranno 2 speciali. Uno per scusarmi per lo speciale dei 100 iscritti e un altro per quello dei 200. Aia, mi sono fatto male. Eccole qua le transizioni transizionose della PlayStation. Fortnite! questo è Fortnite. Questo è palesemente Fortnite. È palesemente Fortnite. Sì, è Fortnite. Fortnite sulla PlayStation 5 è troppo bello. Troppo bello quello sulla Play. E infatti. Coming to PlayStation 5. PlayStation Plus Collection. Ah, i giochi PlayStation Plus. Aia, mi sono fatto male. I giochi PlayStation Plus. E tutti i nuovi PlayStation Plus Benefit. God War, ho tornato, bravo il Gabro. Comunque hanno fatto vedere Fortnite sulla PS5 che era troppo bello.
My name is Connor.
No, non posso giocare! Non posso giocare! Sto in live, sto reagendo al suo evento. Battlefield? Questo pure lo voglio portare, Battlefield. C'è Last si dice Guardian o Guardian? The Last of Us Remastered. Questo qua poi lo voglio giocare. Questo lo porto sul canale The Last of Us Resident Evil, questo pure. Lo porto pure. Infatti era Fallout. Detroit mi hanno dato il copyright. Enjoy. Quindi tutti i giochi per PS4 li puoi avere anche su PS5. Grazie al... Bello il nuovo logo di PlayStation Plus. Bellissimo. Io mi abbono solamente per il logo. È troppo bello. Transizionose. Cos'è sta cosa? Questa musichetta me la ricordo, sì? Ok, stanno facendo... Aspetta, forse... Io non so perché, ma questa musichetta l'ho sentita da qualche parte. Io l'ho sentita sta musichetta da qualche parte. Ora ci danno data prezzo è uscita. Dici data, vabbè, questa è... Sì! Questi sono i prezzi. PlayStation 5, 490. Raga, 400 euro. E poi c'è anche la Digital Edition che non so quanto perché non l'ho vista.
So now you know. Thank you all for joining us today.
Aspetta, vi dico subito.
Journey. It's your passion as fans of gaming that drives us to deliver a truly new generation of experiences on PS5. From everyone at PlayStation, we appreciate your continued support, and we look forward to you getting your hands on PS5 very soon. To close, let me leave you with one more quick look.
Comunque, raga, sono 500 euro la normale, 300 euro la digital. Comunque ragazzi, ecco qui, finalmente abbiamo i prezzi della PlayStation 5.
You must prepare yourself.
Ragnarok. E cosa sarà?
Let's go.
Che bella questa canzoncina, solo che aveva tanto di quel copyright. Tanto di quel copyright. Che bella la musichetta. Sì, parliamo tutti. Fortnite. Fortnite. Perché ha detto ciao? Non so perché, ma ha detto ciao in italiano, anche se questa è di IGN, la versione inglese. Però va bene. Va bene. Ah, di dietro avrà tipo tutta una parte piena di vento. Lei has no limit. Io so.
And welcome back. That was the PlayStation 5 showcase. That was huge. I'm Max Scoville, joined by Brian Altano, Jonathan Dormus, and Janice.
Play has no limit. È il limite di tempo che si può mettere.
It was so close. One day off. Yeah, it's the $500, $499 for the main version with a disc drive, and then digital edition is $399 or $400, depending on how you want to say that. And they're both coming November 12th to some territories, and then November 19th to the rest of the world.
I want to point out, I was going to predict the 12th. I wrote that in our planning doc because I figured it would come out at night, the night before Friday the 13th, which they'd be crazy to launch a console on, but my mic wasn't working. But there it is. Fair enough. Janet, how do you feel about this?
These prices are super competitive. I'm honestly shocked that they were able to hit that 500. I was just really skeptical based on what they are offering and the fact that it really feels like they don't need to do that. They, were more successful this generation. They are kind of already set up to be more successful this coming generation, and this just really put the nail in the coffin in terms of that. Like, they are essentially, because both models are essentially the same in terms of power, so their next-gen premier model is arguably 400, because the only difference is the disk drive, versus Xbox is at the $500 mark. Like, this is awesome. I don't think you could have asked for anything better without being just completely unrealistic.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you could spend $100 less and get a Series S, which feels, like it's going into a completely different territory than the PS5 digital is. That you're getting the top of the line version of the PS5 just without a disc drive for $400. That's insane. That's crazy. My biggest fear going into this would be that Sony would repeat what they did with the PlayStation 3, because after the PS2 sold insane hotcakes, that they would maybe be like that same level of hubris. But to see them kind of come in with, again, such a competitive price is extremely cool. And now it just comes down to when and how do we pre-order these friggin' things. Now let's talk about the launch lineup. We definitely got some holiday 2020s, and we got some coming up
pretty soon later on. But let's talk about what we actually know is going to be available digitally at launch or otherwise, starting with Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition. Again, it's a game that kind of already came out, but that has a pretty clear digitally at launch, nice and clean there.
Yeah, which is interesting because it's already, I believe, setting the sort of cadence of the divide between these two consoles, the digital and the disc version. If day one of your confirmed games can't be purchased on disc, that makes you immediately go, why am I spending $100 more on this system? I think they're kind of setting the course here because, like we said in the pre-show, they get all of the profits of selling something digitally themselves rather than selling a disc through a third-party brick-and-mortar retailer or something like Amazon. So it only makes sense.
Yeah, I was going to mention that same thing. It definitely puts a damper on it. For me, I'm getting the physical version, the one that takes discs, and for it to be at launch but not physical, which also sometimes implies that there might be physical. Later, it just sort of
ma mi ha ricaricato tutto.
Ciao Gabe,
scusate.
facciamo un gioco. Ipotizziamo che tu scarichi League of Legends in questo esatto momento. Inizi a giocarci e ci stai subito in fissa. Facciamo finta che capisci al volo come funziona. 2 team composti da 5 giocatori si affrontano per distruggersi a vicenda in una mappa piena di obiettivi e mostri da uccidere. Tra le centinaia di campioni disponibili scegli Garen.
Scusate. Ma sto avendo un piccolo, minuscolo problema tecnico. Starting soon. Dai. Ok, IGN.
For some reason, you missed these games last time around. Okay. Holy crap! I think this is obviously their answer to Game Pass. We had sort of theorized for a while that PS Now would be something they overhaul, but I think they're smart to just go all in on PS Plus. The branding's there, the subscribers are there, and this will only drive in more and more people to sign up.
What's really exciting about this is it kind of sets the precedent for what might come for PS Plus in that PS5 gen. Like, what ways are they revamping it? What kind of games will we see added to it? Like, they're putting in so much of their major lineup that this really could be the space to get those free games that are of high quality that you may have missed out on moving forward into this gen.
At the very least, it's very cool if you're going to be buying a new box and you haven't played. I mean, I haven't played all of these games. Like, this is a massive lineup of games, and like to get this new thing out of the box and be like, what am I going to play? And it's like, oh, you play one of the things you missed, and like maybe that's not as super exciting as a brand new title, but that definitely gives you something to hold you over while publishers and studios catch up with new hardware. But let's talk about some of the first-party announcements. We got an awesome look at Spider-Man Miles Morales, which is still slated for a holiday 2020 release. This looks gorgeous. Like, we knew that, but I mean, we're all big Spider-Man fans here. Jonathan, take it away.
Yeah, this was such a great. It's not a worry. The gameplay that we saw here, I don't want to take anything from what Janet said, so I spoke to her as we were watching the show together, but it looked great. I loved specifically really the way they're showing Miles's physicality is different from Peter's, and the way he moves, and not just his moveset, but also it flows differently. It looks so great. I loved this first look, and I think it was a really, really stellar thing to come out of the gate with in terms of first-party showing at this.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. I loved how it had kind of this slowdown thing going for it. It looks like it's going to be even more exciting to sort of chain together these attacks. And I think in a game like this, that's what really ends up being enticing, because even though like Spider-Man on PS4 wasn't exactly and came from doing those combos, from pulling off like
abbiamo votato. Dai! Facciamo così e così. Questo è molto bello. Dai, si deve pure buggare ora.
War. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what this is. Again, sort of the run.
Scusate raga, i problemi tecnici capitano. PlayStation Studio. Oh no, ok, no. Aspetta. Torniamo dritto.
Meaty, lengthy game. Like this was a sort of like 15, 20-hour story. Lots of stuff to explore. The game ended with some pretty open-ended sort of scenarios in which a story could pick up. And so there's a lot that can happen from here. So we don't know if this is going to be a Miles Morales style, sort of like 10-hour, more bite-sized spin-off, or a full-fledged sequel to the last God of War game. But hopefully we get some details today. Either way, this was fantastic news. And Max, like you said earlier, I think for people who haven't played God of War in a while or haven't played it yet, it'll be there day one on PS5 through the PS Plus collection. So super cool. A good chance to catch up, and I'll probably play it again.
Yeah, that's exciting. And also the fact that it has a 2021 on there is pretty cool.
Really cool.
I think just getting that's a whole year for things to release it, and there's always the chance it gets delayed. But I feel like that's not that far away. Whereas when God of War was first revealed, we were sitting around twiddling our thumbs for like 2.5 years before that actually dropped.
I was just going to say we have that and Horizon Forbidden West set for 2021. So first party wise, it's looking pretty good for next year for PS5.
Mm-hmm. Now, we also got some incredible third-party stuff. The whole presentation kicked off with one that, sadly, I feel bad for the surprise that wasn't on their size, but Final Fantasy 16, which was heavily rumored, which is a substantial demo. Like, we got a lot, or not a demo, but like a lot of gameplay got shown off, and a lot of, as you'd expect, gorgeous Final Fantasy graphics, which is taken a nice change back to medieval fantasy, which I know a lot of people were kind of hoping for after driving around in a Cadillac with the boys in 15 and all the diesel punk stuff in 7 remake. But yeah, this is also slated for 2021, and it looks really impressive.
Yeah, as someone who kind of dips in and out of the Final Fantasy franchise, I'll play one for a few hours, or I'll play one to completion and then not play another for 3 or 4 years. I do really like the very fantasy-focused version of this one, especially coming off of 7 Remake at least, which obviously is more technologically focused and everything. This is someone who's gotten a little bit more into fantasy storytelling in the past few years. I'm really interested in this one, especially knowing you can kind of just jump into whatever Final Fantasy. I'm really excited for this one, and like you said, I can't believe it's next year.
Yeah, I think the big news here is them sort of stating at the end of the trailer, PlayStation console exclusive. It's also coming to PC, of course, and we're going to see that a lot. But that was a big sort of like kick in the door from Square Enix and Sony today. I saw some like sort of theories kicking around on social where people were kind of had the idea that you were playing as one character across multiple timelines rather than like a full-fledged traditional JRPG party, which is a really cool concept. And it makes me very interested in seeing this because I think that's just different and new enough. And God, it looks gorgeous too.
That's a good Marlboro. Janet, what was your take on Final Fantasy?
I'm much similar to Brian because I'm not really a Final Fantasy person, so I was just excited that, hey, this is a console exclusive. It gives me more reasons to have PS5, or at least beefs up that PS5 library, which in this showcase, you know, I feel like there wasn't a whole lot to get excited about that we didn't already know, and because that launch lineup was kind of thin, it at least says, okay, well, this is something that we have, like, guaranteed. It may not be coming out, like, day and date, but it's slated for later. It's something that, like Jonathan said, beefs up what 2021 looks like, even if like the tail end of 2020 isn't exactly the most exciting thing to have on PS5.
Now, moving on, speaking of fantasy stuff, Jonathan, I know you were very excited about this. Let's talk about Portkey Games' Hogwarts Legacy, which is a Harry Potter game that's not really a Harry Potter game. Let's talk about this.
You're putting me on the spot, man. Yeah, so there was a leak. I want to say it was maybe 2018. It's been so long. But basically, there was a leak of a Harry Potter game that was set years ago, like decades, if not hundreds of years ago, was the alleged rumor. And it was going to let you create your own Hogwarts student and essentially play through your own story at Hogwarts. WB has since then not said a single word about whether or not this game was real. They've just pretty much stayed quiet until this trailer, and we saw that it's called Hogwarts Legacy, and seems to line up with the leaks that we saw that time ago. So it's going to be set in the late 1800s. You seem to be a student at Hogwarts, getting to explore, go to class, hang out with all the cool, fantastical, weird creatures in that world, and all this stuff. This couldn't have been revealed at a worse time for the Harry Potter franchise, I would say, as a longtime Harry Potter fan. The timing of this is not great, and so I feel for the devs who have been working on this game for obviously years. And the timing is unfortunate.
Ciao Nicola, Son 60
It seems like the Harry Potter game I always wanted when I grew up.
Ciao amico.
So if it can deliver on that,
Sei
if you go to the classes you want to go to,
mio
play
fan,
Quidditch, explore all the secret hallways and
Iscriviti,
dungeons of the
please.
school and whatnot. That is a really, really
Se
cool
vuoi.
prospect for Harry Potter.
Così diventerai una persona bella anche tu.
Have been kind of struggling with this idea of what do we do outside of Harry Potter. Like that storyline went really well, but some of the other things that have come up since
Sì,
the
sono
books ended and the
due.
movies ended
È esplosa la live.
have sort of been lacking, I think, for a lot of fans. Admittedly, I haven't dug into a lot of them because they have been lacking for a lot of fans, so I just wasn't interested. Yeah, so we'll see what they do with this one. There's like a lot of lore to pull from, but at the same time, kind of something new has its own challenges. I think all the problematic elements of Harry Potter aside, I do kind of feel like maybe it's time that we move on from Harry Potter just as a thing itself. But at the same time, you know, I'm a millennial. I read those books, actually not when I was a kid, but way later. I love them, so definitely going to dig into this. I want to see what kind of like weird slice of life things you can do. This trailer is super combat focused, which of course is, you know, exciting because it's magic and there's all these different monsters, but I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to go to class. I'm trying to have some bully sim level experiences within Harry Potter. So that's what I'm looking forward to in this, and how they can really build out that world and the different systems at play outside of just the combat that I think they kind of focused on here.
Right. It's going to be a weird one because like I don't think there will be any familiar characters. Like maybe the ghosts will be alive, you know, like maybe Nearly Headless Nick will have his head, but like Peeves, I guess, will be around.
It'll definitely be it'll be a lot of the side characters, I think, that have been established. There's definitely characters who've been like alive or, you know, through ways been around for hundreds of years. I think the thing about it, at least for me, when it comes to like, I don't want to play a Harry Potter adventure anymore because one, I read the books, two, I played all of the game adaptations when they came out on PS2 and GameCube and whatnot. And so I think like exploring the other the other sides of this universe is a smart way to go. I just think, especially for a casual audience who knows that story and loves that story, it's harder to hook those people in.
Also, I want to point out, if there's anybody who's mad that this was revealed during a PlayStation conference, PlayStation is the only console canonically referenced in the Harry Potter books, so it's canon. Anyway, speaking of weird castles full of ghosts and creatures and whatnot, we also got a glimpse of Resident Evil 8, or Village, spelled with Roman numerals. Brian, you're grinning ear to ear. Take it away.
Yeah, so this, to me, feels like the not only spiritual successor to Resident Evil 7, which rebooted the franchise and brought it into a first-person mode, but also really bringing it back to Resident Evil 4, spooky castles and weird creatures and goblins and monsters everywhere. Great thing about this is it's bringing a bunch of new horror species into the mix for the first time ever. We've got witches and werewolves and fun stuff like that. But this castle setting, this old town, this sort of like cult setting that's happening here, super Resident Evil 4. This immediately shot up to one of my most anticipated games of 2021. We got to see more of it today. Interesting thing we did see too is there's sort of like sub-storytelling narrative happening here that switches over to a very distinct art style that's evocative of something like Tim Burton or Coraline or something like that, sort of storybook-ish, which is interesting. I watch a ton of horror movies and I've noticed that a lot of modern horror movies have actually attempted that recently. Most recently, a movie I watched called Hunted did that, where they threw in this sort of like way to tell a story that was separate than the in-game graphics and the shooting with actors and stuff like that. And I think it's really cool. For a second there, I was like, this is bizarre. This doesn't look like anything Resident Evil. If you had shown me that screen right there, that animation, I never would have guessed that this is what was happening. But I think it's going to add something interesting and new to the mix. This is a franchise that has reinvented itself so many times. It's gone from completely survival horror, intense, to over-the-top action, to rebooting itself as a first-person sort of like survival horror again, and back and forth and back and forth. And so I'm really excited to see how this one sort of brings in some of the best elements in the history of this franchise, returning in the first-person mode again, which means that the graphics are going to be just utterly stunning and gorgeous, but also bringing a lot of the sort of vintage survival horror stuff with it. I can't wait to see what they do in terms of like upgrading weapons, and if there's a merchant, and like what the weird cult people are like in this town, and can you turn into a werewolf? Do you get superpowers? Like, there's so much to play with here. These games get so fun and so silly, so I'm really, really, really excited for this one.
Janet, Jonathan, did you have anything to add about that after Brian?
I'm super excited for this too, even though I'm not really a horror person. It's kind of very scary. However, I am new to Resident Evil. My first ever Resident Evil game that I fully played through was 7. And then I went to RE2 Remake, and I haven't gotten around to RE3 Remake yet, but I plan to. So it's been really cool as someone that's new to the franchise and doesn't have like necessarily the nostalgia or memories that Brian has, but sort of sees this as, okay, what are they going to do now? So we know they like rocked, the remakes because those games were already good. So they made already good games better. Again, I've been super excited to see, okay, but what are they going to do that's next, that's new? To me, that's always what's more exciting than a remake. So I'm really interested in this. I get the sense that they might be playing with this idea of what is reality and what is illusion, and maybe there's something like going on with your head. They sort of had a bit of that in RE7 as well, but just the idea of this having the storybook narrative underneath, and this idea of, oh, these are just tales. What are you talking about? Everything's normal. I think it's going to warp your perception of reality a lot. I'm also really curious if they're going to do PSVR support for this, because that was a big part of 7 and that idea. Yeah. And Sony's so focused on immersion. Like, I think this is just going to be such a horrific adventure that I will not be playing in VR, but I think it'll be cool if people can.
Jonathan, anything to add?
I like spooks. I'm excited for this spook. I don't think there's any more I can say about that. I did just see some breaking news, though, if you don't mind me interrupting.
Sure, go for it.
Because why put this in the stream, PlayStation confirmed on their Twitter account that pre-orders will be available starting as early as tomorrow from select retailers.
Oh, damn. Yeah. I think Jeff Keighley also leaked that on his Twitter, but PlayStation's confirmed it, so that's cool.
He also
we don't know which select retailers yet, but yeah, that's great. So you can relax today. You can, sit on your wallet for a little while, call your bank, whatever you got to do. But tomorrow
I've never
morning,
been more relaxed than now. Sure.
Oh man,
it's gonna happen when we're asleep.
Anyway, I guess speaking of other things jumping out and surprising you, we also got to look at Demon's Souls running a good chunk of gameplay. This is the Bluepoint full from the ground up remaster, which looks just flabbergastingly gorgeous. And it's going to be a launch title, which is huge.
We also just got confirmation that this is a PlayStation exclusive. It is a timed exclusive. It's also coming to PC, but in terms of consoles, this is a timed exclusive on PS5.
Yeah, I'm surprised Sony doesn't just acquire Bluepoint at this point, because obviously they love working together, and they've done some great remakes in the past. But yeah, as Max, you were saying, this looks gorgeous, and as someone who kind of bounced on Demon's Souls very early because I was too scared to keep going forward because I was bad at it, I'm really excited to jump into this version of it.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked about this. It's weird because I played Demon's Souls for like a hot second when it was a PS Plus game on PS3, and I kind of like poked around and didn't fully grok how to actually get good. But now since then I've burned through Bloodborne. I'm actually like halfway through Dark Souls 3 right now, and I'm absolutely in love with it. And I'm like totally going to jump into this and check it out. It's gonna be really exciting to be sort of part of one of those games when they come out and everyone's talking about them at the same time instead of playing a game that came out 3 years ago that no one's talking about. But yeah, this looks stunning. I'm dying to see somebody do a graphics comparison because pull up the original and basically play alongside this exact same route, which I'm assuming is like in there, which should be cool. I'm sure somebody's working on that right now. But yeah, this looks like a ton of fun, and I don't know. It's cool that we're gonna get such a big, chunky, meaty game right at launch.
Yeah, that's honestly the biggest news for me. That's something I was really hoping for when we were talking about it in the pre-show. I'm a huge FromSoft fan, just like you, Max. Bloodborne is one of my favorite games of all time. The idea of playing this on day one made me go from like, now we're starting to form the idea of why you would buy a PlayStation 5 on day one. I mean, it's one of those things I would have done anyway because I'm stupid, and even if it didn't have games, I'd be like, I'll get it, just because I love shiny new things, and they help satiate the sadness that is the rest of the universe. But Demon's Souls on day one, are you kidding me? Like, I'm gonna play the hell out of this game. It looks super tough and challenging. And yeah, Max, like you said, the conversation about this game did happen a while ago when it first launched, but there's gonna be millions of people playing it for the very first time, including you and I. And we're weird that we text each other about monsters and Bloodborne and Dark Souls at wee hours of the night. So I'm very excited to do all that again with all of you. Assume you all play it.
Yeah. Anyway, speaking of bright and shiny, brand new launch titles, we actually just got confirmation if Demon's Souls is too scary for you. Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales will be launching on 11/12 US and 11/19 everywhere else on PlayStation 5, and it's also coming to PlayStation 4 as well. That is an official tweet with. Hashtag be yourself. Hashtag you feel like Spider-Man.
Why did none of these things happen during the after?
I don't know. It's very weird. The weird thing about this one too is that we had theorized that it was $40 for a while because it was allegedly about half the length of the original game in terms of story and narrative. But this will be $50 for the base.
I wouldn't say I'm disappointed that's also on PS4 because that sounds kind of like, oh, I have less fun if more people can play the game. It's not that. It's just that, we criticize Xbox so much for that. I think it'd be ridiculous not to hold PlayStation to the same standard. I will say that I am very excited about the price. The price is awesome. I'm absolutely going to buy it tomorrow, hopefully, pre-order it if that happens. Excited to be able to play Miles at launch. Kind of disappointed that the launch lineup is not one that I would say is super strong outside of Miles, which once again is debatably not an exclusive, but hey, neither was Breath of the Wild on Switch, so I'll take it.
Mm-hmm. Jonathan, what about you?
Yeah, it's strange. This presentation definitely didn't answer all the questions it needed to. There are still a lot of stuff hanging, even when it comes to just the full launch lineup. But if we are really getting this Demon's Souls at launch just on its own, I mean, to me, that already blows the PS4 launch out of the water. So I'm really excited to jump in on day one. I feel a little bit more secure in putting down $500 about this, even though I was always going to. But all of this, there's a lot to be excited about, not just right now, but I think this did a really great job of telling me why 18 months from now, the PS5 is going to feel like a really good investment.
Nice. Brian, what about you? Final thoughts?
So the launch lineup to me is fantastic. Miles and Demon's Souls on day one is great. The price is excellent. It's incredibly competitive. I think that it's going to go very far. The lineup for next year looks great. I wish we had seen more UI features, more stuff running under the hood, more of what it's going to be like to interact with this system on day one. But hopefully that's to come. So.
Yeah, it's really exciting. I feel good about it. I'm totally going to pre-order one of these guys. If you want to find out more about our thoughts on PlayStation stuff, you can check us out on Podcast Beyond every week on IGN. That is the PlayStation Show. And Next Gen Console Watch will be doing the whole, fair and balanced argument about which of the different shaped boxes is better, and having a reasoned debate about that. You can catch that every week on IGN as well. We will have more to talk about later, right here on IGN on News, Games, and More, which I'll also be hosting. I want to go outside because it's nice out, but I guess I'll sit around and talk about Demon's Souls some more. Anyway, thank you all for watching and joining us, Jonathan, Janet, Brian. Thank you. I'm happy we got to do this. It feels good.
Me too.
We got the release date and the prices.
Yeah,
finally.
There's the new PlayStation. That's fun. That's good news. Anyway, thank you to all of you watching at home, and we'll see you soon. Stick around. Bye. Don't stick around. Leave. Go home. Goodbye.
Oh, è partito un video. Oh, thanks for watching. Rega, thanks for watching. Ragazzi, è finita la live. Aspettate che faccio come gli streamer professionisti. Grazie anche a voi di aver guardato il video. Per chi l'ha guardato dall'inizio fino alla fine tutta la live, grazie di avermi supportato, grazie di averci dedicato il vostro tempo. Noi ci vediamo in un prossimo video e in una prossima live. Grazie di aver guardato, spero che vi sia piaciuto. Se è così, iscrivetevi, condividete, lasciate un like. Comunque, se volete comunque lasciare anche dopo la live un piccolo regalino, volete offrirmi il caffè, volete comprarmi una Goleador, potete seguire il link in descrizione. E comunque sono anche uscite il mio merchandise ufficiale, quindi correte subito sul mio sito a vederlo. Grazie di aver guardato e ciao. Ciao a tutti.